Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be solving the Information Technology 9626 paper 2 from the October-November 2017 session. So let's get started with the scenario for our paper. You're working for Tawara Technology Solutions. You are required to carry out some data handling and media tasks. You must use the most efficient method to solve each task. You're required to complete the evidence document called evidence.rtf. All files saved must include your center number and candidate number, e.g. evidence underscore xx999 underscore 1234. Okay. So step number 1, a manufacturing company needs a single central database and has gathered the details of staff employed at each site. Unfortunately, the site saved the details in different ways. You've been provided with these files, and these are the list of the files that we have been given. Okay, you are required to develop a database consisting of 3 tables containing the data for the employees. That's very important. Data for the employees. Then you have got also site details, maybe in different color, and you've got a database for the a description of the job codes. Okay, so 3 tables that we are required to have in this database that we're going to create. Open and examine the files and analyze the data. Okay, so let's go ahead and open and examine the files. So the files are coming from task 1, and these are the files in question. So I'm going to sort them by type and open all of them. Just click on open. Okay, good. Then I'm going to open the other 2 as well, these 2, and just click on open. Okay, so usually when you are told to open files and examine the data inside the files, they are basically, you're looking at the file structure, not necessarily the structure, but you're looking at the contents of those files, looking at things like metadata, which is extra information about data or data about data. So you're basically looking out for things like which column is the primary key, what type, how many characters, for example, is that column. Is there anything special? What's so common or consistent about that column? For example, you would see that one column has data that is only made up of 4 characters, and it has data that is unique. And so you would know that probably this is either a primary key or this information is restricted. Somebody cannot enter information. For example, a gender column, somebody cannot enter if they have restricted it to female or male, represented by M or F for that. And then somebody cannot type male for, the word male, because they are expected maybe in that column that they would just type M for male and F for female. And so you see the kind of restrictions that apply on each column, and that kind of gives you more information about each column. And that information is what we call metadata. It is actually extra information about a field. Okay, like this field is primary, it is going to be 6 characters long, it is only going to accept this. If it doesn't accept this, there will be this validation rule and stuff like that. That is what is known as metadata. Okay. So when we examine this, we are looking out for that. So for example, in this table, we have the table like this. So if I were to say something about this, I'll look at the job code and I'll see that all the fields in the job code are actually unique. So I'll be thinking about having this field as a primary key. Okay, so this will be my primary key in this table. I'll minimize it and look at this other one also. Notice the format of the dates. Okay, so the format of the date is, first of all, day, and then the month, and then the year. And the year is a complete year, so you have YYY. So this is DD. The first part is DD, MM, and YYY. Okay, so that is the metadata about the date. The same applies to this one. Look at the contract hours. You scroll down, you see that the contract hours are actually whole numbers. So that gives me the metadata for this one as integer. And then you think about the payroll number. And if you go through this one, probably or most likely you'll find that this one They have 7 characters long, but each of these is unique. Okay, so that gives an indication that this can be a primary field. Okay, so there are many other data that you can look at. So let's see. You have got this one. This is site info table, and you can also check out that. Look at the first column. Everything is unique in the first column, and all these details in these records actually pertain to one of these. Okay, so most likely the site could be the primary key in this case, although you have town city also as unique, but it's possible that you can have from Dundee another maybe in another town or part of Dundee if there is something else, a second town, but based around Dundee. I don't know. Yeah, but these two could be primary, but site is better off primary. Look at another table, this one. This is the Cardiff site staff. And again, the payroll number would be the primary key here. Same thing that we talked about in the other one. Notice the dates that are there. The dates, they are actually, some dates, they start with 0, then 9, and stuff like that. So we just need to work around our way when we import this file. The other thing is the different layouts for the dates. Notice that this date is right aligned and stuff like that. We'll need to select all these dates and put them maybe in one, for example, put them like that or put them like that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Then also notice you have got the bottom site job codes, and notice the payroll again would be primary in this case, and then you have got again all the dates and stuff like that. Okay, minimize it, and you've got the Ashford site code. Also, payroll number will be primary. So notice that the payroll number is a unique number that identifies each employee. And this is why we want it to be the primary, because every employee will have a unique number that will identify them. Okay. So also this one, again, in all employees' personal information, we have payroll number there, which makes it that. Okay. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is to let me see. I'm thinking I've corrupted one file. Let me just try to extract it. I'm thinking I've corrupted a file. Pardon me, let me just try to extract the files again. I was trying to work on this paper earlier on. I'm thinking I've corrupted one or more files. So let me just copy this and then paste it around here, just to replace the existing files. So I'll close up these just to make sure that these files are actually not part of the ones I was working on earlier on. Okay. All right. Okay, so close that as well. And I'll close both Word documents. Okay, and replace the ones that are there. Good. So I'll open these up. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, I noticed the other one had extra information here, which I added when I was trying to work on this paper earlier on. So, okay, so so the basic thing that we're going to do now, having had examined the data, we'll go back to the question paper, and we'll say, in order to plan the relational database, employee rather complete a data dictionary in the evidence document. Okay. And so you're talking about a data dictionary. I'm sure you guys, you know about data dictionaries. You did probably a thorough revision on this topic in class. But basically, in a nutshell, a data dictionary is simply a document or a file which actually gives you a representation of your tables. The name, the field names that you're going to use in those tables, the structure of the data types, the metadata, which is extra information about that data. That will be contained in the data dictionary, or validation techniques and rules that are being used in your database or in your tables. They are also considered as part of the data dictionary. And this is what we are going to create. It's actually very simple to create a data dictionary. And I'll show you just in a moment. Okay, so include details of tables, records, fields, data types, and any other relevant information. And this part, for any other relevant information, this is of course, this is what the metadata will be all about. Of course, some other things other than the field name, like the data type and stuff like that, the field size and all these are examples of metadata because they are data about data. Okay, so there must be no duplication of data. All right. So what we're going to do is to create file structure, and we are told that this database is going to have 3 related tables. So when we create the data dictionary, what we need to bear in mind is that we should have 3 tables. Okay, this database is going to have 3 tables. We need to define the structure, the file structure of each of these tables. So we're going to start with the data for the employee. Okay, so the employees table, and then we'll move to the site table, and then we'll end with the description of the job codes table. Okay. So what we need to do now is to go to the evidence document and pick up the evidence. Okay. So open the evidence document, and we'll need to give extra information to this. So we put our candidate details there. Okay, so we type Chikasa Evans, ZM556 and 001. Okay. Next, we will need to save this evidence document. We were given a format in which we should save this evidence document. So I'll save it in my current folder. Perhaps I'll need to create a new folder called worked files, so that when I send you this, you can also have a folder worked files with all the files that I'm working on. So I'll change it to evidence document, rather to Word document, and I'm going to get the name from here. So the name of this file is supposed to be evidence followed by your candidate center number and your candidate number at end. Okay, so let's go ahead and do just that. So this is evidence followed by your center number ZM556 followed by your candidate number. Okay. Right. So here we are going to create our data dictionary. There are 3 tables that we are looking at in question. Remember, we have the data for the employees, and you have the site details. And so we are creating table, and then we are creating the file structure for these tables, which are going to be used for this database. So what we need to do is to come here and create a table name. So let's call this employee table. Employee table. Okay. And the employee table we insert a table, and we'll have the field name. We'll have, let's see what else we can have. We can have the field name, the data type for the field name, and then you can also have maybe the metadata, that is extra information about that data, the field size, and stuff like that. Okay. So I'll have about 4 columns. You can have more columns depending on what you want, but I'll have 4 columns just for the sake of this class. Okay. So here you are going to have a field name. Remember, we are defining the employee table. So the structure for the employee table is that we're going to have a section for field name. Then we have the data types, and then we have the field sizes, and then we have extra information. Okay, so extra info, okay, about the data. Okay, so this is known as metadata, okay, or metadata if you want. Okay, so basically this is what we are going to do. So I'll just minimize this so that they fit on one line like that. Okay, so so let's go ahead and look at the employee table, the one that we have. We have all employees' personal data. We can get an idea of what is in this file That's what we're told to examine. And then we can use the field names that are existing in that file. So I'll just do this and go to the folder. And this is task 1, and all employee info is already open. Okay. Do you want to reopen all employees info? Yes. Okay, so just do that. So the information that we have in this table gives us an idea about the fields that are existing in this table. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'll just put this side and get the document and probably drag it as well this side. And I'm going to be getting the field names that are there from each table and probably get them into this one. So the first field name is payroll from the employee. So we know that in the database we'll need a payroll number, but I'm going to put an underscore, okay, because some database files, they don't accept spaces between two words. So a conventional way, you'd rather put it as payroll underscore number, or just like payroll, but use the camel notation where you have the first letter of the second word beginning with capital. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is to specify the data type for this one. Notice the data type is a mixture of numbers and letters. So we'll call it text. Okay. Next one, the field size. So the field size, if you have a unique field or column, you can notice, guys, I'm going to have to pause a little bit. I have a bee which is disturbing me. All right, so let's continue. I had a bee which was just disturbing me. I'm seated right behind the flower, so it was probably coming for the flower. But I didn't like the fact that it was hovering around my neck. You may find that it just bites you or stings you. Okay. All right, so we continue. So yeah, so you need to count the number of characters in the payroll number. So I see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's check the another one just to confirm that there are 7 for everyone. Okay, yeah. So there are 7 for everyone. So 7 characters here. Okay, and I'm just going to do this. The extra data about this is that the payroll number is actually a primary key. So you can say this will be your primary key. Then you have got another one, given name. Again, I'm going to put underscore. It is also text, and it has got no specific characters because some names are long, some names are short. You can't fix this one. So no extra information about this. Then you have family name. And then it is also text and no extra information as well. Then you have, let me just scroll up. You have also street address. I'll put underscore. Street address. This one also, it is text, no special information about it. You have got city or town. And then you have, this is also text, no extra information about it. We've got postcode. Okay, it will be text as well. I don't know if the postcode is also fixed characters. No, I see one has got 7 and the first one has got 7 and the other one has got 6. So we can't fix the characters and no extra information about it. And then we have the date of birth. Date of birth. Then this is going to be date or time. That's the data type. And if you want, you can fix the characters, but you'd rather put extra information in the metadata to say this is going to be formatted as DDMMYY. Okay, so you can check from this one, or if you go back to the question paper, rather not the question paper, from the file. You notice that the date is actually in the format of DD, MM, YY. Okay, so if you want, because they have not specified also that rather just by looking at the date, you can tell that it is in that format anyway. So you just need to be extra careful on that one. So then we'll put YYYY at the end. And then you have date of employment as well. So date of employment. Okay. No. So you need to move this one, employment. And this is date time as well. And the metadata about it also is DD, MM, and YY. Okay. Then the other thing that we need to think about is that when we look at the other, remember we are creating a relational database. Okay, so we were told that we should have. Okay, here you go. We should have. We are required to develop a database consisting of three related tables. So the moment you hear about related tables, that gives you an idea that you're actually creating a relational database. And because of that, what forms relational databases is the fact that you have got primary keys and foreign keys. I'm sure you guys you are aware about primary keys, that it is a primary key is simply a key that uniquely identifies a record. And a foreign key is a key that is primary in one table, and it is also just a non field in another table. And relationships are actually created when you link a foreign key to a primary key. You actually link a field which has got its primary key existing in another table. When you link these two, then you actually create a primary key. So because these three tables are related, we need to find a way of having certain data in the employee table, which is going to link to where they work, okay, the site they work from, as well as the description of the job that they are doing and the number of contracts hours that they work. Okay, so these three would really give us extra information about each employee, where they work from, the site they work from, whether it's Cardiff or Ashford or it's Bolton or Dundee. And then you need to know also what kind of job they do. Are they site managers? Are they maybe mechanical engineer? What are they? Are they administrative assistants and stuff like that? We also need to know about the employee, how long they work on that particular job. So all this information needs to be added in the employees table. But what we're going to do is to just have codes that link to other tables. Remember, we have a sites table, and each site has got also extra information about itself. So if you come to the sites table, notice that this on the sites table, if you come to the sites table, you will see that each site actually has got extra information: address 1, address 2, city, and postcode, office, and stuff like that. Okay, so that means that we just need to find a field here, which is the primary key. Actually, you actually get the primary key in this table and put a foreign key in the employees table, which will link to the primary key later on. So if I can describe this very well, I'll do something like this. This will be the primary key in this table, but we'll need to have a field that links it to the other table, so that we can create a relationship. Okay. The same thing for the job code. We need to have a job code window, a job code ID linking to this one. Okay, and these two, when they are linked, they create a relationship or a relational database. Okay, so I'm going to put one more field here called site, and this site is text, and we can have extra information about it. Is that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters. So just put 7 characters, and then there's no other extra information where it is primary. Okay, then we can have another information coming from the job description table, which is this one, because we are told in the question paper that then we have job description table. Okay, so job description, which will be this one that I've opened here. And in this one, we have the job code. So the job code in this one, let me just do this. The job code in this one is the primary key. This one is the primary key. And it is the one that will have to create a foreign key inside the employees table to link it like that. So what you need to do is to create a foreign key in your table. So here I'm going to create job code, job code like that. It is going to be text, and it is going to be this one can be let's see. We can have this, how many characters now? 2 characters. Okay, 2 characters. Any extra information about the job code? Nothing. But in this case, sorry guys, this is not going to be primary because we already have a primary key on top there. Sorry. So this is not going to be primary because we already have a primary key up there. So that's fine. And if you want, you don't need to define these two as 7 characters and 2 characters. The reason I say so is because they are already defined in their respective tables. So there is no way that when you try to enter, that these two will be let's see, do that. Yeah, there's no way that these two will try to be a problem if you try to enter them, if you don't define them as 7 characters long, because they are supposed to be defined in their primary table, in the table where they exist as primary. That's where we define them. So the last one is site, not site, contract. Okay, so we talked about the number of hours that each employee is working. So contract hours, and this is going to be an integer because it's a number. Remember, I said it's a number, and it's not primary, it's not anything. So we can leave it at that. Okay, so that's the employee table. And when we build our database, we need to make sure that we use this. Remember in IGCSE, they used to give you this information. They used to give you a data dictionary, and they tell you to import a file and make this as the formatting of the file structure for your database. But in AS, you guys are required to come up with this, okay, based on the given files that you have. You're supposed to come up with your own data dictionary. But at IGCSE, you guys were given this, and you'll notice that every access part in IGCSE ICT paper actually started with a data dictionary. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to create another data dictionary, and this one is going to be for the site details. So I'm going to call it site stable. Okay, so this is going to be site stable, and then I'm going to insert a table of the same structure, 4 columns. So the first one is going to be, as usual, field name, and then data type, and then you're going to have field size, and you're going to have extra info. For that one, we even put metadata, okay, which is data about data. And I'm going to just adjust these so that this can fit on one line. Okay, so then we're going to continue again. Let's go to the sites table. When we go to the sites table, where's the sites table? It's here. Again, the sites table, the data that we have is actually, let me just drag this side a bit. The data that we have, the first one is that we have the site, and the site data type is text, and it is going to be 7 characters long. And then the information is that this is going to be primary. Then we have address 1, and then we have the data type as text, text, and then we don't need any field size for this one because addresses can vary. And then we have the extra information, nothing. And then we have address 2, and then this is going to be text as well, nothing, don't need anything else. So we have town, so city, Then we need, this is going to be text, nothing else there. Then we have postcode, and then we have, this is going to be text as well. I see letters and numbers in there. And then we have nothing, then office, telephone number. Okay, and this is going to be, even though it is not purely made up of numbers, what's important is that you guys should set it as text. Okay, let me just see how much time I've used. So this is going to be a long stretch video. I know some of you guys who've told me, no, some videos are long, but for this one, I'm just going to make a long straight video so that we don't waste so much time. Alternatively, I think I'll cut it. Let's just finish this section, then we can break it and have a different so then after office, then we'll have office fax number. So also this one, you need to make it as why am I typing like that? Fax number. Okay, and this is going to be text, and there's no extra information. So this is the sites table. There's one more table that we need to do. That is going to be the description of the job codes. Okay, so let's do the data dictionary for this one, job codes. So here we're going to write job code, or job description. Let's say job description sounds better. Job description table. Okay, so then we're going to insert the same thing, a 4-column table, and we have the field name, and then we have let's do this, makes more sense. Then we have the data type, and then we have got the field size, and then we've got extra data or extra info, stroke metadata. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust this as well and adjust this one. Okay, so then we go ahead and look at the job description table. So the job description is this one I've put up here. It starts with job code, the field name job code. Remember, this is text, and it is made up of 2 characters, but it is primary. Okay. Then we have got the second field, which is job description. Okay, and this is going to be text as well, and there's no metadata about this one. Okay, so that's fine. So basically, these are the data dictionaries that you have created for your database. Okay, so when you begin to create or import these files, you make sure that they actually observe these rules that you have defined here in your data dictionary. Of course, there are other things that we could have added here, things like validation checks. For example, we could have said that all primary numbers should be 7 characters long. If somebody enters something else that is about 7 characters, then you're supposed to warn them or give them an info message that they're supposed to enter only 7 characters as acceptable number of characters for the payroll number as primary key. Okay, so that is fine. Now, what I'm going to do is go back to the question paper, and so we have defined this information. So in order to plan the relational database, complete the data addition in the evidence document, include details of tables, records, field names, data types, and any other relevant information. And there must be no duplication of data. In other words, you should not have 2 fields or 2 more columns or 2 columns in one table that are actually the same, just because they come from different tables. Okay, so that's very fine. So there you go with your 19 marks just for doing that. At this stage, you are at grade G. If you have 90 marks, that's what, grade F or U. Okay, but you're getting close to improving your grades. Okay, So in the next video, I'll start with step number 2, and then we see how far. I think I'll combine step number 2 and step number 3 in the next video. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you shortly in the next video.